Ah. So right
Does it look like
here.
it's 3, 2,
3, 2, 1. Wait.
I don't know.
Good.
Oh, fuck. Jesus fucking Christ.
I just need something real quick. I'm sorry. Can you hand me that white?
Fuck no.
Hey.
Hey. Hey, we're Psychic, and today we're gonna. Is my eyebrows up? Hey, we're Psychic, and today we're gonna talk about Arrow Season 3.
Which I think was a lot about identity this season.
Oliver was having an identity crisis.
He definitely was. He was jumping from one point to another. In the beginning of the season, he was very much accepted by the city. Mm-hmm. And from there, it just went downhill very quickly.
180 shit spin.
Yeah, the city started not liking him. And then, of course, with everything with Ra's al Ghul actually becoming a member.
Him.
Yeah, also him.
So he does a lot of name changes, too. We have...
Yeah.
He... Technically, he's separating the fact that he's Oliver Queen. So we have in the beginning Green Arrow, then also him, and then Oliver Queen finally at the end. So it's a lot of identity crisis.
A lot of dealing with identities. Of course, the main villain of the season, Ra's al Ghul, and I felt like he was handled for the most part pretty well.
I like the actor a lot.
The actor was really good. Just he didn't have much of a plan this season, I felt. But overall, I think I like the season. It's not great. It's not terrible. I think people are overreacting when they're saying how terrible this season was. It wasn't terrible. It was good. So what were some of your favorite episodes, though?
Definitely one that always speaks out, and I know it's your favorite too, is The Climb.
The mid-season finale.
That would be mid-season finale. That's where we have Oliver going to face Ra's al Ghul, and you get that amazing fight scene where there's no music playing. It's just swords clashing. You got, of course,
shirtless
Ra's
guys.
with his a whole bunch of shirtless guys. That's pretty good. And then Ra's has his arm behind his back the whole time.
In the snow. Just very dramatic episode. Really, I thought it was a great way to end the mid-season on.
Until later on, then they bring him back.
They kind of
with
magical
herbs,
whatever that is, yeah.
Just out of nowhere. They don't even really explain it. I was hoping they were going to explain something with, maybe...
A lot of people thought the Lazarus Pit.
Yeah, maybe Tatsu had some of the Lazarus Pit, but it was just really ambiguous. But he's back.
He was back.
She rubbed his hands on it. It's like, oh, I'm back to life.
Magical stuff. Yeah. Another episode I liked, The Brave and the Bold. It was the second part of the crossover with The Flash. That was a really great episode. Anytime the Flash was in the show of Arrow, it was always so great. He brought a lot of humor to Arrow, which is what Arrow I think needed. A lot of endearing.
Well, and this was
characters.
With season 3. This is the season that's going alongside with season 1 of Flash. So this is the first time we get to have a crossover season where two worlds are existing together.
Yeah,
and season 3's got that for it.
I think the crossovers were really good, and especially that episode. And the Flash had a lot of crossovers too. A lot of good stuff.
One of my favorite parts with the crossovers is it's like everyone's freaking dead in the League of Assassins headquarters, and Barry runs in. He's like, "You guys got a hot tub?" Yeah. Which is perfect. Perfect humor for the show, but needed.
He brought in a lot much needed humor. Public Enemies, I think, is another good standout. A lot of tension in that episode, which is what this season. That was in my opinion. I felt the most like adrenaline rush. Yeah,
on that one. That's where Lance is obviously tracking down the Arrow, trying to uncover everything, and it's just it was so riled up. It was like the pedal was on the ground. It was like, holy, got you now, you son of a bitch. That's that scene.
And unfortunately, Lance's motivations, I don't think were the most developed. He kind of overreacted at times, and the season never kind of recovered from that. There was like I said, the last few episodes, there was no tension. None of the tension matched that episode.
Well, what I like, it just brought to mind with you saying that is we have, that's where it riled up at the very top with Lance.
It was top.
And to get us there, though, we had to do Laurel's transformation to Black Canary, and you get that scene where it's like, she finally had to tell her dad that, Sarah's been dead this whole time.
Yeah.
That's like one of the best parts of the show. That in the beginning, the show is extremely strong with that. So you had that's one of my favorite scenes. It was heartbreaking where Laurel has the voice modulator to sound like Sarah, and she's just talking in the shadows.
I know, in the earlier in the season. Yeah, probably not a good idea to lie to her dad, and obviously didn't bring up anything good.
And I feel that came to, I feel like because that pissed him off. He's pissed off this whole season because of that, and that's why that episode was so good, because he literally made it personal.
Yeah, definitely.
He wasn't going by the books there.
Yeah. So what do you think are some things that worked with this season then?
Well, we have, in the beginning of the season, we get more of Laurel as Black Canary. That was a really big part of it.
Yeah,
we have her complete training from beginning to technically end. She gets her ass kicked quite a bit.
Yeah, but I think her overall arc was a lot of transformation.
Some of my favorite scenes are with Laurel as Black Canary. You have the trust fall, which is that scene where, once again, Lance is hunting them down. They just sprint off the side of a building, and it's like, of course, you have Roy and you have Ollie who can shoot, but she's just fallen, and it's just.
And they have to say, that was definitely one of my favorites.
It was very subtle. They didn't even talk about it later on. Just as an audience, you're like, oh, she trusted them to like just. Yeah, that's what I really liked about it.
It was a great part of a great episode.
And with her training, you get Wildcat, which you get the next best scene of. The punching glove.
The boxing glove
arrow.
I love the boxing glove arrow. Nice little nod to the comics. Of course,
one of the most iconic things with Green Arrow is his boxing glove arrow. And we got that.
Yeah, we definitely got that.
I did not complain in the least bit how they did it.
Yeah, definitely. I love the boxing glove arrow.
And then still with Canary, we also got, then later on, her transformation, we finally get the Canary cry, the Canary scream.
Of course, that happened on the Flash, though.
On the
Flash. A bit odd, but... Yeah,
but she does it on Arrow.
She does it on Arrow, yeah, and I thought that was nice having it attached to her.
So maybe it wasn't just that Oliver's having identity crisis. Have Laurel, who's going from just being a lawyer, being in that field, and now she's taking up the vigilante thing and becoming one of Arrow iconic people ever of the Black Canary.
Well, the whole season I think is a lot about identity. So I think each character has their identity crisis kind of moments, and everyone's trying to figure out who they are,
you're really right with that, because even Roy at times, he with Roy we can go to now too, I always felt like he was having a blast being the Red Arrow Arsenal,
yeah,
and we later learn that he at times just wants to be caught, like he's kind of done,
because he feels a lot of regret and remorse of what happened
in season 2. He killed that
police officer when he was on the Mirakuru. So yeah, and I like it. I felt Roy is such a good character. He's so underutilized, though. I felt like I'm disappointed that at the end of the season he seems like he's gone. I hope they bring him back. I really liked Roy. He had a lot of good stuff when he took the blame for being Green Arrow, and then in the prison. He had a lot of good moments. I just felt like we could have more with him.
I don't even want to think of that prison episode. It's just like, you're like, oh man, I love Roy, and then he gets stabbed. You're like, somebody help him! No. Oh my god, he's dead!
And of course, he's not dead and everything.
He just has a somersault out of that, and he'll be fine.
Yeah, he didn't do a somersault. That's why he fell.
That's why he got stabbed.
Yeah. I think Maseo and Tatsu too, from the flashbacks and even the present. I felt like that really worked. Their relationship, their characters were really good. Unfortunately, the flashbacks didn't really do him justice, but it led to the ending in was it second to the last episode?
My favorite. That's probably my favorite part of the whole show. It's just that bittersweet moment where we finally have Katana. She has to kill her husband Maseo, and it's just I welted up like a baby. That was really good.
It was It was probably the most emotional, true moment in the whole season 3 of
next
of
to I think with Lance and his daughter. I still put that.
I probably put that one even more than that. It was a really well done scene. I liked her finally being in her costume. It just had so much build up. And
exactly. From the very beginning of season 3 to the end, we're doing these flashbacks in China where he's meeting this family and growing with this family. Oliver is, and it comes to the climax at the end where the family, has to end. And she releases him. I love that scene. It's just like, you released me from my prison. I don't want to get all touchy here, but that's pretty. I'm a big Katana fan, so I was happy with that. He
gets,
which I feel like
meet his son too. So
exactly. Yeah. I think when you look at it, there's so many characters in season 3 alone, and I think it's because we really didn't have too much Oliver in it. Oliver was kind of. I didn't feel like this was.
I felt like he didn't have as much to do.
That's true.
I felt like the season was a bit overcrowded at times, and
we have Ray Palmer as the Atom. We have Katana. Maseo, he had an unnamed
the whole team
person.
Arrow, Diggle, Felicity. I mean, there's so many characters on this show. That's why one thing, maybe it's good that Roy is leaving, leaves time for other characters. I want him to be a part of it, though, in the future.
Well, then now we get Speedy. At the very end, we had Speedy.
Thea and her whole arc
that was
in
awesome.
this season.
That's actually a pretty big one. I was pretty happy for
her. So she did a lot in the season. But also mentioning Ray Palmer, him becoming the Atom and his transformation over the season. I thought Brandon Roth did such a great job with the character.
Probably the best character the show's done.
He was such an endearing character.
He was liked from the start. Yeah, there was nothing.
He felt like the Felicity character in the early parts of the show. He was He's just a funny, enduring character, and of course, we all know he's becoming the Atom and building a suit. It was
And we get to see the step-by-steps through the whole season.
I like how it
from
progressed.
Begin to the end.
Of course, we didn't actually see him shrink, and that was my biggest... Yeah. Why didn't that happen?
I was waiting forever for him to shrink.
Why did he not shrink? Of course, now that we've seen the Legends of Tomorrow trailer, he shrank in that, so it was just... It was
I got
strange.
goosebumps.
I love
happy
that. That was
that.
such a good part.
With Ray, you have then the Felicity arc of the show, and I kind of felt like I was happy for Felicity and Ray to be together, and then at the very end, you're just like, what did you do? It's like the show's like, let's cut that out, let's throw it with Oliver, and let's just make this whole thing weird.
Yeah, it was Felicity was such a dramatic character this season, which was odd because that's not what she is. It's not what she was, and they turned her into this kind of whiny character.
A lot of the people on the show were whiny, and it kind of brought it down a little bit.
I'm not saying she wasn't. She was, of course, justified for a lot of her whininess, but it's not who we expect of Felicity. It's not who the character she is. So
Ray had to step in and be what she was.
Yeah, and the love triangle, too much drama with Felicity. Need to tone that down a bit, bring her back around. And then, of course, going with Ra's al Ghul, the main villain of the season, I felt like we didn't have a clear motive of what was going on with
other than him wanting to make Oliver the next head of the demon, also him.
But that wasn't even until kind of way later.
That was like the last 4 episodes that Oliver finally makes that transition.
Yeah, it's just he didn't have much to do. I like the actor. I thought he did a good job, but there's no tension. There was no build up. It was just kind of there, and I felt like that was one of the things I want. Ra's al Ghul. It's Ra's al Ghul. I mean, such a huge villain. They should have really taken it up a notch, but. Yeah.
Well, it was kind of cool to see then Oliver be, I wouldn't say corrupted, but, he changed into it. You have that scene where he gets shot in the arm and without flinching, he just cuts it off, cuts the arrow like that.
Great scene.
Or the wedding scene, Oliver gets married in this one, technically to the daughter of Raish, Nissa, and just like she goes to murder him at the wedding and he blocks, he's like,
that was a good scene.
Continue,
I think they need some special divorce lawyer or something.
How do you undo a league wedding?
I don't know. Mentioning other things that kind of didn't work, the flashbacks, I felt like there was nothing to them. There was nothing going on in the flashbacks.
I definitely think the flashbacks were the weakest part of this.
See, there was just
the season. I don't know many people that felt like they were necessary. You've said before that you can just do the whole flashbacks in one episode.
It's like one episode, really. And I like I said, Tatsu and Maseo. I like their arc, but they just did nothing. They might as well have just been drinking coffee.
The only thing I could think of that really did that for Oliver was that we got to see him lose his crap at the end and torture General Shreve.
Yeah, good scene.
That was really, chronologically, that's, as you said, the first time he said, "You have failed this city."
I believe so.
And we got that out of the flashbacks. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
but doing that for like 20-some episodes was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So overall, though, where do you think Arrow has to go now then? So with season 3 being over, we have season 4 coming up.
Well, flashback wise, it looks like he went onto a boat that's addressed Coast City. I guess I missed this, but a lot of people were commenting saying the boat he went on says Coast City on it. Of course, which is the home of Hal Jordan. Green Lantern.
And we've had in Flash mention that already, that Hal Jordan does exist.
The Ferris Air, and then they mentioned he's. Yeah, so
I'll be fine. I'll be fine with the flashbacks if they're going to have him hanging out with the pilot Hal Jordan. Why not?
That would be pretty awesome.
The season really ended on just like a clean end. It was like everything was resolved.
It was a nice break. I liked the finale. It wasn't great, but I think it was a good finale. It was what we needed because now season 4 could be fresh, regenerated. Bring a whole new energy.
They could finally change
just go into a whole new area, and I think that's what season 4 needs.
Wow. I'm pretty excited for it overall.
Yeah, and I think Hive that seems to be the main villain for season 4.
They mentioned that a lot in season 3 with little teasers for that Damian Black, Raish's rival.
Back to season 2.
You got to be a pretty bad dude to be a rival to Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
That was a human part of him. Like, he's kind of pissed. Like, he wants this guy dead.
And then, of course, the whole thing with them killing Diggle's brother for some unknown reason.
No,
with Deadshot killing it. So there's a lot. Hive has been kind of built up. So I'm really looking forward.
Overall, I would say that 3 is great.
Well, great.
Good. It's good.
It's good. A good season.
So at top, you'd have season 2, then season 1, and then season 3.
Probably, but season 3 is not terrible. It's a good season, and I'm excited for the show to continue. go even further.
It's
and I'm
only
hoping
got
to show more.
up to go from here.
Let's hope so. Yeah.
Well, thank you for watching our rendition of the whole season 3 of Arrow. And we hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
While a genie does pop out, instead of granting his wishes, he starts choking the shit out of Dandelion. Geralt attacks the genie with no effect, and in desperation grabs the seal that fell from the vase